everybody. Scoonie007 here, bringing you another exciting game in the 2008 replay with Inside Pitch. In today's game, we've got the 16-7 Los Angeles Angels taking on the 11-12 Detroit Tigers. This is game one of a three-game series between the Angels and the Tigers. Who's going to come out on top? Will the Angels be out there in the outfield? Or will the Tigers pounce to get back to 500? The one game under. This is game one of a three-game series. And here is the starting lineup for the Los Angeles Angels. Leading off, the third baseman, Cone Figgins. Batting second, the left fielder, Gary Matthews. Batting third, the right fielder, Vladimir Guerrero. Batting fourth in the cleanup position, the center fielder, Torrey Hunter. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Juan Rivera. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Eric Abar. Batting seventh, the catcher, Jeff Mathis. Batting eighth, the first baseman, Casey Kocheman. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Mercer Izutris. On the mound for the Tigers, it is Nate Robinson. Comes into today's game with a starting ERA of 6.74. 2 wins and 2 losses. He's pitched 18 and 2/3 innings, allowed 32 hits, 14 strikeouts, and 15 walks. We're here at Comerica Park, which gives a -1 to strikeouts, but a +1 to walks. And with that, Cone Figgins steps up into the batter's box. He's batting a .202. And as the home plate umpire dusts off home plate, we are ready for the first pitch. And here it is. And that is going to be a 5-2, column 5, row 2. It's a strikeout. On a 1-6, the 20 is too high. And that is going to be a 6-3, column 6, row 3. It's a ground ball down the third baseline. Ing makes the catch, throws it over to Cabrera for out number 1. And he'll call him out as he runs past first base. So let's take a look at the starting defense for the Los Angeles Angels. We've got for the Detroit Tigers, we've got Jones out there in left field. Granderson will be in center. Ordonis at right field, going around the horn. We've got Ing on third. Rentia will be at short. Polanco will be on second. Cabrera at first. Rodriguez will be behind the plate. And Robinson on the mound. Gary Matthews up. He's batting a .221. And that is going to be a 1-6, column 1, row 6. That is a strikeout on a 1-10. That is a 10. Struck him out. And that'll be 2 away. And that'll bring up Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero batting a .367. And here is the pitch. Guerrero, 4-2, column 4. Row 2, that is a strikeout. On a 1-7, the 13 is too high. And that is going to be a 3-6, column 3, row 6. It's a ground ball to the shortstop. Rentia will get that, throw it over to Cabrera. And that will be out number 3 to retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors as the Tigers retire the Angels in order. We go to the bottom of the first, and here is the starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers. Leading off, the center fielder, Curtis Granderson. Batting second, the second baseman, Placido Polanco. Batting third, the designated hitter, Gary Sheffield. Batting fourth in the cleanup position, the right fielder, Maglio Ordonis. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Miguel Cabrera. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Jacque Jones. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Edgar Rentia. Batting eighth, the catcher, Ivan Rodriguez. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Brandon Ing. On the mound for the Angels, it is Ervin Santana. He comes into today's game with an starting ERA of a 2.40. He's got 2 wins and 1 loss. He's pitched 30 innings, allowed 26 hits, 33 strikeouts, and 7 walks. Granderson steps up into the batter's box. He's batting a .333, and here is the first pitch. And that is going to be a 4-4, column 4, row 4 home run on a 1-11. That is a 2, and on the first pitch of the game for Granderson, that ball is out of here. Solo home run for Curtis Granderson. Hits that ball dead center. Hunter Rowett running back, and that ball is gone. That's a moonshot. Granderson touches them all. See you later. And the Tigers are on the board 1-0. And that is Granderson's first home run of the replay. And the crowd here at Comerica Park goes wild on the home run. Let's take a look at the starting defense for the Los Angeles Angels. We got Matthews out there at left field. Hunter will be in center. Guerrero will be at right. Going around the horn, we've got Figgins on third. Abar will be at short. Izutris on second. Coachman at first. Mathis will be behind the plate. And Santana will be on the mound. Placidio Polanco batting a .355. And here is the pitch. 2-2, column 2, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1-3. That is a 6. The 6 is too high. And that is going to be a 2-1, column 2, row 1. That's going to be base hit past the shortstop. So he smacks one out there into shallow left field past the shortstop as Abar tries to dive for it, but misses, and that's going to put a runner on first. Runner on first with no out. Strategy roll is a 14. The Tigers holding off. Infield is at double play depth. Now, on double play depth, the range is a -1. Ground double plays get a +1. And the base run rating on third will get a -1. So that is that is how we figure everything out when we go to double play depth. Gary Sheffield batting a .220. Strategy roll is a 14. Tigers holding off. And that is going to be a 6-1. Column 6, row 1. Now that is a split result off of Santana's card. So on a split result, we look to see if the batter is right or left hand, if he's batting right or left. Gary Sheffield bats right. So off the pitcher card, we are going to look to the right-handed side of the slash, and that is a blank. And that is going to be a 3-5, column 3, row 5, and that's going to be a fly ball. Matthews eyes it up, sees it. Hunter comes over a little bit to help out, but waves him off. And that'll be out number 1. 1 out, runner on first. Strategy roll is a 2 for Maglio Ordonez. That is going to be a hit and run attempt. And with that, Ordonez batting a .356. And here is the pitch. Oh, by the way, Excuse me there. By the way, on a hit and run, all ground double plays are -2. Base run ratings will get a +2. Home run and walk ratings are cut in half, and we round those down. Lineouts are considered double plays, except for the error on a throw. So if an ET came up, and if the batter strikes out, we'll resolve the play as a steal. So with that, a 4-5, column 4, row 5. The result is at the ballpark. Anytime you roll the at symbol, you'll resolve the play off of the ballpark card. And we're going to go to Comerica Park. And that is going to be a 4-2, column 4, row 2. That is going to be an S+7. So first of all, it's going to be a single out there to left field. Matthews. Well, and with that, Polanco will go to third. Ordonez goes to second. Now, on an S+ result, all runners will advance 2 bases regardless. We roll 1d6 versus the adjusted base run rating of that. So with that, if the roll is less than or equal to, the batter is safe with a double, which he is not. Adonis has a 0 for base run rating. But if the roll is higher than the adjusted base run rating, he'll hold with a single. And with that, that is a 0. So no advancement by the batter. He holds. And with that, Polanco will go to third. And we've got runners on the corners. That's going to bring the infield in. Now, on the infield being in, range plays will get a -2. And the base run rating on third gets a -2. So that is where we get the 0 for Polanco. Ordonez's base run rating is a 1. Strategy roll is a 7 for Cabrera. Cabrera batting a .294. And here is the pitch. 1 out, runners on the corners. And that is going to be a 3-1, column 3, row 1. That is a strikeout. On a 1-10, that is a 3. Struck him out. And that'll put 2 away. So infield goes back to normal depth. Jock Jones is up. He's batting a .123. 2 outs, runners on the corner. Strategy roll is a 1. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-4, column 3, row 4, split result. That's going to be a walk result. Jones is a left-handed batter. So off the pitcher card, we are going to look to the left-handed side of the slash. And with that, that is a 22. That is a 2. And that'll load the bases. So the bases are loaded here in the bottom of the first. Edgar Rentia batting a .271. Strategy roll is a 14. Tigers standing pat. And here is the pitch. 4-2, column 4, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1-7. That is a 10. That is too high. We're going to roll off of Rentia. And that is going to be a 6-3, column 6, row 3. That is a base hit past the second baseman. One run will score. Adonis goes to third. Is he waved around home? Let's take a look. Adonis will go from second to home on a base run rating of a 3 through 6. His base run rating is a 2. He is waved home. Jones on second. His base run rating is a 2. Does he advance to third? And for him to advance from first to third, his base run rating needs to be is 3 to 6. That is a 2. He will hold. It's a 2-run RBI single for Rentia. It's 3-0 Tigers. Ivan Rodriguez is up. He's betting a 257. Strategy roll is a 3. Tigers holding off, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-6. Column 4, row 6. Range play. Now, on a range play, we're going to check the first number of the defense, of the fielder's arms, and that is going to be a 4-6. Column 4, row 6. That is a 2. That is a double start 2. That's going to be a fly ball back there to Hunter. Hunter's range is on a 1-4. That is a 3. He makes the catch all the way up the track.
Boy, he had to cover a lot of ground to make that grab.
And he had to hustle all the way back to the warning track to make that catch. And that will retire the side. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. And the Tigers will leave 2 stranded after 1. It's Tigers 3, Angels nothing. We go to the top of the second. Torii Hunter, Juan Rivera, and Eric Abar due up for the Angels. Torii Hunter batting a 286. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-4. Column 4, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 5-4. Column 5, row 4. It's a ground ball past the shortstop, Torrentia. He'll make the catch. 1 hops over to Cabrera. And out number 1. Gets the out in time. Juan Rivera batting at 386. 1 out, nobody on. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-6. Column 3, row 6. That is going to be a walk on a 1-6. That is a 19. The 19 is too high. So no walk there. And that is going to be a 4-4. Column 4, row 4. That's going to be a fly ball back there to center field. Granderson goes back, sees it, eyes it up, makes the catch and puts 2 away. Eric Abar batting at 286. By the way, here at Comerica Park, it's a -1 for strikeouts and a +1 for walks. Nothing for home runs. Abar batting at 286, and here is the pitch. 2 up, 2 down. And that is going to be a 3-2. Column 3, row 2. Home run chance on a 1-2. The 18 is too high. And that is going to be a 6-2. Column 6, row 2. It's a ground ball up the middle. Robinson will make the catch there. Throw it over to Cabrera. And that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors as the Tigers send the Angels down in order. We go to the bottom of the second. It's Brandon Ing, Curtis Granderson, Placidio Polanco due up for the Tigers. Brandon Ing batting an 0.79. And that is going to be a 6-2. Column 6, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1-14. The 20 is too high. And that is going to be a 2-3. Column 2, row 3, double star 3. That's a fly ball back there. Guerrero will see it, eyes it up, makes the catch, and puts 1 away. We go to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson, 1 for 1, home run, a run, and an RBI. He homered his first time up at bat, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-2. Column 3, row 2. That is a strikeout. On a 1-9, that is a 7. Struck him out. Struck him out, and that'll put 2 away. And next up, that's going to be Placidio Polanco, who's 1 for 1 with a run scored. And here is the pitch. 3-3, column 3, row 3. That's going to be good for, that is a strikeout On a 1 to 3, the 13 is too high. And that's going to be a 2-2. Column 2, row 2, double star 2. That's going to be a fly ball back there to Hunter. Hunter sees it, makes the catch, and that will retire the side.
You picked your designated driver for this evening. Please remember to drink responsibly.
So the Angels retire the Tigers in order. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors. And then left on. After 2, it's Tigers 3, Angels nothing. We go to the top of the third. Jeff Mathis, Casey Coachman, and Mercer Izutris due up for the Angels. Jeff Mathis batting a 121. And here is the pitch. It's a 6-1, column 6, row 1. Home run on a 1 to 15. The 16 is too high. Just outside of his home run range, and that is going to be a 4-6, column 4, row 6. That is a double out there into right field. Ordonez sees it. And with that, Mathis will get on with a double. Casey Coachman up. Coachman batting a 346. Runner on second. Strategy roll is a 4. Angels standing pat. And here is the pitch. Infield at normal depth, by the way. 4-4, column 4, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 1-5, column 1, row 5. It's a base hit down the first baseline to Cabrera. Shoots it past Cabrera as he tries to go diving for it. And with that, Coachman is on with a base hit. Mathis will go to third, but as he waved around to score, he'll go from second to home on a base run rating of a 4 through 6. That is a 1, and the stop sign goes up. So, runners on the corners. Strategy roll is an 18. They're going to put the squeeze on. We have a squeeze play. Infield at double play depth. Mercer Izutris batting a 231. No outs. Runners on the corners. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-3. Column 4, row 3. That is a hit by pitch. That makes it a 0. The 3. Bunted hard. Runner gets caught in a rundown. Use the rundown chart. So, he bunts it down the third baseline to Ing. Strategy roll for the bunt. That is a 19. It is a rundown with that. So let's take a look at the rundown chart. What happens? And that is a 4. With that, if the roll is greater than the base run rating, the runner out. No advancement for the other runners. If the roll is equal to or less than the base run rating, runner out, others advance. And with that, Mathis is tagged out. So Coachman will advance. Mathis is... The batter is out, sorry. The batter is out. And that... Hold on. It did not do that, so we are going to undo that. We are going to redo that play at the plate because it did not give the out. And we're going to redo Mercer Izutris' play at the plate. So Izutris batting a 231 and did not record the out for some reason. So we are going to redo the play on that. So with that, Izutris batting a 231, strategy roll is a 14, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 5-5, column 5, row 5. That now Izutris is a switch hitter. So with him being a switch hitter, he is batting right. That is going to be a walk plus. Now, on a walk plus, we add 10 to the range, plus that of the ballpark factor, which adds a +1. So we add 11 to Izutris' walk range. That's a 15. That is a 7, and that'll load the bases. So bases are loaded, and we go to the top of the order. No outs. Cone Figgins up. Figgins is 0 for 1. Strategy roll is a 4. Angels are standing pat, and here is the pitch. Figgins, 4-2, column 4, row 2. That is a strikeout. On a 1-6, the 13 is too high. And that is going to be a 4-3, column 4, row 3. It's a base hit past second base. 1 run will score. Coachman goes to third. Is he waved around to home? He'll go from second to home on a base run rating of a 3 through 6. That is a 2. And he scores. And Izutris, with a base run rating, goes from first to third with a 3 through 6. That is a 4. He'll go to the corners. So runners on the corners, no outs, and it's a 1-run game now. So it's a 2-run RBI single by Cone Figgins. Strategy roll is a 5. Gary Matthews is up. He's 0 for 1. Struck out his last time up at bat. Strategy roll is a 5. Angels holding off. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-6. Column 2, row 6. It's a range play. Whose range are we checking? And that's going to be a 3-3. Column 3, row 3. It's a fly ball to Jones. Jones's range is on a 1-4. That is a 2. Jones will make the catch.
That was a fine play.
And that is a sacrifice play here. We roll. Now it's a fly out with runners on third with less than 2 outs. We're going to roll 1d6. If it is less than the sacrifice rating of the batter plus the mod rating here, the runner scores. So the ball was hit to Jones. It's going to be a +1 for the mod. Sacrifice rating is a 2. That is a 1. And we have tied this game up at 3. Strategy roll is a 20. That's a pickoff attempt. Anytime you roll a 20 on the strategy die, it is a pickoff attempt. Nate will pick off on a 1 and a 1 only. It's a 5. Nothing happens. 2 outs. Runner on first. And that is going to be a 2-4, column 2, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 6-5, column 6, row 5. Fly ball back there to Jones. By the way, Jones is 6 for 7 on his range plays. Jones will make the catch there. And that'll be out number 2. 2 away, and that's going to bring up Torrey Hunter. Hunter is 0 for 2. Strategy roll 18. Angels holding off, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-4, column 2, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be that. Remember, Nate is a left-handed pitcher, so on the batter card, we look to the left-handed side of the slash. It's a 6-1, column 6, row 1. It's a single past the shortstop. And with that, Hunter will go to first. Figgins goes to second base, but does Figgins pick up the extra base? He'll go from first to third on a base run rating of a 5 to 6. That is a 5. He will advance. And he'll go to third. And once again, the Angels have runners on the corners. Strategy roll is a 20. Once again, it's a pickoff attempt. And this time it is a 10. Nothing happens. Juan Rivera is 0 for 1. 2 outs, runners on the corners, and that's going to be a 6-6. Column 6, row 6. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 5-4. Column 5, row 4, double star 3. It's a ground ball down the third baseline. Ing will make the catch. And that will retire the side. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. And we go to the bottom of the, and 2 left on for the Angels. We go to the bottom of the third. Gary Sheffield, Maglio Ordonez, and Miguel Cabrera due up for the Tigers. Gary Sheffield is 0 for 1, and here is the pitch. Sheffield 4-1, column 4, row 1. That is a strikeout. On a 1 to 10, that is a 1. Struck him out. Struck him out, and that's going to bring up Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez is 1 for 1 with a run scored. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-1, column 2, row 1. That is a walk. On a 1 to 12, that is an 11, and that's going to be good for a walk. So, strategy roll is a 1. That is a steal attempt. They are not going to send him for that steal. Miguel Cabrera, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. His stolen base rating is a 3. They're not sending him. And that is going to be a 3-6, column 3, row 6. That is a strikeout. On a 1 to 10, that is a 7. Struck him out. Struck him out, and with 2 outs, remember, we add a +1 to the base run rating. Jacque Jones walked his last time up. 2 outs, runner on first. Strategy roll is a 12, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-4, column 4, row 4, home run. On a 1 to 2, the 20 is too high. That's going to be a 3-1, column 3, row 1, ground ball down the first baseline. Coachman will make the catch there. By the way, Hunter, who made those range plays, he's 13 for 6. 81% on his range plays. Ground ball to Coachman. He'll make the catch there. And that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors, but the Tigers will leave 1 stranded after 3. We're tied at 3. We go to the top of the 4th. Eric Abar, Jeff Mathis, and Casey Coachman due up for the Angels. Eric Abar, 0 for 1, and the pitch. 1-2, column 1, row 2. That is a strikeout. On a 1 to 4. The 12 is too high. 5-1, column 5, row 1. It's a ground ball to second base. Polanco will get the catch there. Toss it over to Cabrera. And that is out number 1. Jeff Mathis. Mathis is 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored. And here is the pitch. Mathis, 2-3, column 2, row 3. Now, that is we consider that a blank right now because Nate has not faced his allotted number of batters. And that is going to be a 5-6, column 5, row 6. It's a fly ball back there to Granderson. Granderson goes back, sees it, makes the catch, and puts 2 away. Casey Coachman is 1 for 1 with a run scored, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 5-1, column 5, row 1. It's a wild pitch. Nothing happens. Nobody on. And that is going to be a 5-4, column 5, row 4. Coachman will smack a single out there in the center field. Smacks it right up the alley. Granderson will come in, throw it over to Polanco, and they'll hold Coachman at first. Mercer Zutris is up. Zutris with a walk and a run scored. Strategy rolls at 18. Runner on first with 2 outs. And here is the pitch infield at normal depth. And that is going to be a 2-2. Column 2, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1-4. That is a 1. Struck him out. Struck him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And the Angels will leave 1 stranded. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Edgar Rentia, Ivan Rodriguez, and Brandon Ing due up for the Tigers. Edgar is 1 for 2 today with 2 RBIs. And that is going to be a 4-2, column 4, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1-7. That is a 4. Struck him out. And that is Santana's 5th strikeout of the game. Ivan Rodriguez is 0 for 1, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-2, column 2, row 4. That is a walk. On a 1-7, that is a 2, and that'll be good for a walk. So it's Ivan will trot on down to first, and that's going to bring up Brandon Ing. Ing is 0 for 1. Sacrifice play coming up here. And that is going to be a 4-1, column 4, row 1. It's a range play. And it's a successful range play by Casey Coachman. He'll make a bunter hard. Runner gets caught in a rundown. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's a good bunt there. That was the last play at the plate for the last bunting there. So 2 outs, and that's going to move Ivan Rodriguez over to second. And we go to the top of the order. It's Curtis Granderson. 1 for 2 today with a home run, a strikeout, a run, and an RBI. Strategy roll was a 14. 2 outs, runner on second, and here is the pitch. 5-5, column 5, row 5. That is a walk. On a 1-15, that is an 11, and that is going to be good for a walk. So runners on first and second. That's going to bring up Polanco. Polanco is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Strategy roll is a 7, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-2, column 3, row 2. That is a strikeout. On a 1-3, that is an 8. The 8 is too high. And that is going to be a 3-4, column 3, row 4. That's going to be a pop-up to Zutris. He'll make the catch.
High pop fly. That one be a home run in a phone booth.
And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, but the Tigers will leave 1 stranded. After 4, we're tied at 3. We go to the top of the 5th, and it's the top of the order for the Angels. Cone Figgins, Gary Matthews, and Vladimir Guerrero due up for the Angels. Top of the 5th, and it's the top of the order. Cone Figgins, 1 for 2 today with 2 RBIs, and here is the pitch. By the way, Nate can face 8 more batters before he is considered tired. 3-3, column 3, column 3, row 4. It's a double question mark. Single on a 1-8. That is a 4. That's going to be good for a base hit. And with that, Cone Figgins is on with a base hit. So the Figgins stolen base rating is a 4. That is a strategy roll is a 1. Infield at double play depth. They are going to send him. That is a 13. He got caught stealing. Tries to get back to the base. Could not get back in time. And they threw him out at first. So that's going to be out. They threw him out at second. So 1 away. And that's going to bring up Gary Matthews. Matthews is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and an RBI. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-4. Column 6, row 4. That is a strikeout. On a 1 to 10, the 12 is too high. And that is going to be a 5-3. Column 5, row 3. That's going to be a base hit out there into center field. Granderson comes in, but the ball will drop right in front of him. So 1 on with 1 out. Strategy roll is an 11, and that's going to bring up Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero is 0 for 2, and here is the pitch. Runner on first, infield double play depth. And that is going to be a 6-4, column 6, row 4. Strikeout on a 1 to 7. The 10 is too high. And that is going to be a 6-5, column 6, row 5. Fly ball back to the left field. Jones sees it, makes the catch, and that'll put 2 away. 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Torrey Hunter. Hunter is 1 for 2. Strategy roll is an 18, and here is the pitch. Hunter, 3-4, column 3. Row 4, double question mark. Single on a 1 to 8. The 11 is too high. Hunter. And that is going to be a 3-4, column 3, row 4. Fly ball back to the center field. Granderson will come running in, makes the catch and slides. And that will retire the side. So no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. And the Angels will leave 1 stranded. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Gary Sheffield, Maglio Ordonez, and Miguel Cabrera due up for the Tigers. Arvin Santana can face 8 more batters as well before he is considered tired. Bottom of the 5th, Gary Sheffield, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-3, column 4, row 3. That is a wild pitch. No runner is on. So we're going to roll for Sheffield. And that is going to be a 6-2, 4-2, sorry. Column 4, row 2. That is a base hit out there in the center field. Hunter will come in, can't make the play in time, so Sheffield is safe with a single.
Everybody clap your hands.
Now, with that, Santana has reached his pull rating. However, he can face 7 more batters before he is considered tired. They are going to leave him out there on the mound. Maglio Ordonez is 1 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Strategy roll is a 13, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-2. Column 2, row 2. That is a strikeout on a 1 to 6. That is a 4. Struck him out. And 1 away. Infield double play depth still. Strategy roll is a 16. Miguel Cabrera, who is 0 for 2, struck out his last 2 times up at bat. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-1, column 6, row 1. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 4-4, column 4, row 4, line drive to the shortstop. A-Bar will make the play there. No double play, but that is a line out. So 2 outs, runner on first. Jacques Jones up. Jones is 0 for 1 with a walk. Strategy roll is a 12. Tigers holding off, and here is the pitch. Infield normal depth. And that is going to be a 5-6. Column 5, row 6. That is a strikeout. On a 1 to 11, that is a 1. Struck him out. So no run. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and the Tigers will leave 1 stranded. We go to the after 5. We're still tied at 3. We go to the top of the 6. Juan Rivera, Eric A-Bar, and Jeff Mathis due up for the Angels. Juan Rivera 0 for 2, and here is the pitch. 4-1, column 4, row 1. That's a possible error. And that is going to be a 6-6, column 6, row 6. That's going to be a line drive to Polanco. His error range is on a 1 to 3. However, it's a line out, so he'll make the catch there. Throws it over to first. Eric A-Bar is 0 for 2, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-2, column 2, row 2, strikeout on a 1 to 4. The 10 is too high. 2-5, column 2, row 5. That's going to be a fly ball back there to Granderson. Granderson will make the catch there. And that'll put 2 away. 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to bring up Jeff Mathis. Mathis is 1 for 2 today with a double and a run scored. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-2, column 6, row 2. That is going to be a walk. On a 1 to 17, that is a 10. And that is going to be a walk. So, runner on first, as Mathis will trot on down. Strategy roll is a 12 with 2 outs. Casey Coachman up. He's 2 for 2 with a run scored, and here is the pitch. Coachman 1-4, column 1, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 2-6, column 2, row 6. Fly ball back there to Adonis. He sees it, goes back, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, and no errors, and 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Edgar Rentia, Ivan Rodriguez, and Brandon Ing due up for the Tigers. And with that, Santana goes back out there on the mound. They're going to send him out there. However, they are giving him a 1-hit bullpen for the Angels, starting to warm up. Edgar Rentia is 1 for 2 with a strikeout and 2 RBIs. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-4, column 4, row 4, home run. On a 1 to 4, the 14 is too high. And that is going to be a 2-5, column 2, row 5. That is going to be a double to Guerrero out there in the right field. So we'll start the inning off this inning off with Edgar Rentia leading off with a double. Strategy rolls a 17. That's going to be a sacrifice play. No outs, runner on second. Ivan Rodriguez, who is 0 for 1, walked his last time up with a walk. And that is going to be a 3-1, column 3, row 1, strikeout. However, that is a successful sac bunt. Bunts it to the catcher. Mathis drops it down in front. Rentio will go to third as they'll throw it to first for the out. So 1 out, runner on scoring position. And with that, Brandon Ing up. Ing is 0 for 1. Strategy roll is a 15, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-5, column 2, row 5, strikeout on a 1 to 14. That is a 4. Struck him out. So 2 outs, runner on third. We go to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson up. He's 1 for 2 with a home run, a walk, a strikeout, a run, and an RBI. Strategy roll is a 10. Tigers holding off. And that is going to be a 5-6, column 5, row 6, strikeout on a 1 to 9. The 19 is too high. And that is going to be a 6-3, column 6, row 3. It's a base hit out there in the right field. Guerrero goes chasing it. And the Tigers have taken the lead. It's an RBI single by Curtis Granderson. Tigers now have a 1-run lead. It's 4-3. And with that, they're going to go to the bullpen. So the Angels going in the bullpen. Santana coming out. And they are going to bring in Darren O'Day. O'Day will come in to relieve. Comes into the game with an ERA of a 6.72. He's got 2 wins and no losses. He's pitched 6 2/3 of an inning, allowed 11 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. He can face 6 batters. Taking a look at the stats here for Elvin Santana. Santana went 5 2/3 of an inning, allowed 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, gave up 1 home run, an ERA of a 3.02. Placidio Polanco will come up. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Strategy roll is an 8. The Tigers are holding off, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-3, column 6, row 3, home run chance. On a 0, nothing happens. The 13 is too high, 6-1, column 6, row 1, double star 1. That's going to be a ground ball to Izutris. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side. So 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors, and the Tigers will leave 1 stranded. After 6, it's Tigers 4, Angels 3. We go to the top of the 7th. Mercer, Izutris, Cone Figgins, and Gary Matthews due up for the Angels. And with that, Nate Robinson comes off the mound. And with that, they're going to bring in Zach. So Zach Minner comes into the game with a 6.0 ERA. He's got no wins and no losses. He's pitched 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Mercer Izutris, who is 0 for 1 with a walk, a strikeout, and a run comes up into the box. Taking a look at the stats here for Nate Robinson. He went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and ERA of a 6.19. 9-1-2 in the lineup that he'll have to face off against. He can face 10 batters. Yzutris is 0 for 1, and here is the pitch. With a walk, a strikeout, and a run, that's going to be a 3-2. Column 3, row 2 at the ballpark. We're going to go to Comerica Park, and that's going to be a 6-6. Column 6, row 6, ground ball to Rentia. He'll make the catch, throw it over to Cabrera. And that'll be out number 1. 1 away, and we go to the top of the order. Cone Figgins, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-1. Column 6, row 1, strikeout. On a 1-9, the 16 is too high. 2-2, column 2, row 2. That's going to be a ground ball to Polanco. And that'll be 2 quick outs, 2 up, 2 down. And that's going to bring up Gary Matthews. Matthews is 1 for 2 with a strikeout and an RBI. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-2, column 2, row 2. Now, Matthews is a switch hitter, so he's batting left. That is a strikeout. On a 1-12, the 19 is too high. 5-3, column 5, row 3. That's going to be a base hit into center field. And with that, runner on first. So with that, Zach, pickoff attempt 20. Zach does not pick anyone off. It's a pickoff attempt. 19, nobody to pick off. And that is going to be a 5-4. Column 5, row 4. That is a blank. Guerrero. And that's going to be a 3-3. Column 3, row 3. That's a double to Jones. And with that, Matthews will go to third. He'll hold. Base run rating is a 2. The die roll is a 4. And remember, if the roll is less than or equal to, he would advance. Otherwise, he holds. And with that, Torrey Hunter, who is 1 for 3, steps up. Strategy roll 13, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-5, column 4, row 5. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 3-1, column 3, row 1, double star 4, ground ball to Ing, and he'll make the catch there, throw it over to Cabrera. As we sing, take me out to the ball game. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors, and the Angels will leave 2 stranded. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Gary Sheffield, Maglio Udonis, and Miguel Cabrera do up. Darren O'Day goes back out there on the mound, taking a look at the box score after 6.5 have been played here at Comerica Park. The Angels scoring 3 runs in the 3rd inning. So 3 runs on 9 hits so far and no errors. The Tigers, 3 runs in the 1st, a run in the 6th. It's 4 runs on 7 hits and no errors. Darren O'Day goes back out there on the mound. He's going to face off against Gary Sheffield, Maglio Udonis, and Miguel Cabrera due up for the Tigers. Gary Sheffield is 1 for 3 with a strikeout, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-3, column 4, row 3. By the way, Darren can face 5 more batters before he is considered tired. It's a wild pitch, nothing happens. We're going to roll for Sheffield. That's going to be a 2-3, column 2, row 3, line drive to Figgins. And that is going to be out number 1. Maglio Udonis, 1 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and a run. And here is the pitch. Adonis 3, 4, column 3, row 4. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 2-2, column 2, row 2. That's going to be a fly ball back there to Guerrero. Guerrero will make the catch and puts one away. Miguel Cabrera 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, 2 up, 2 down. And that is going to be a 6-1, column 6, row 1. That is a strikeout. On a 1-10, that is a 6. Struck him out. So no runs, no hits, and no errors, and none left on. It's 3 up, 3 down as the Angels retired the Tigers in order. After 7, Tigers 4, Angels 3. We go to the top of the 8th. Juan Rivera, Eric Abar, and Jeff Mathis due up. We do have a couple changes right now to the defense for the Tigers. At first base, Carlos Guillen will take over at first. And in right field, Cleet Thomas will take over. So those are the changes they are going to make to the lineup. Guillen now playing first. Thomas will be over there in right field. As we go to the top of the 8th, Juan Rivera 0 for 3. As that comes up, they are going to let him take the hit. And here is the pitch. By the way, Zach can face 5 more batters. Are they going to pull him? They are. So Zach going to come out. They are in a safe situation. And they're going to bring in Fernando Roddy. Actually, they're going to bring in Tom Jones. Todd Jones is going to come in. Jones comes into the game with a 10.47 ERA. No wins and 1 loss. He does have 2 saves. He's pitched 4 1/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Taking a look at the stats here for Zach, he went 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, an ERA of a 5.14. So 5, 6, and 7, the heart of the lineup. And here is the pitch to Juan. 0 for 3. And that is going to be a 5-6, column 5, row 6, home run chance on a 1-20, 13 in range. That is a 2. That's going to be a home run. And with that, the Angels have tied this game up back to 4. We are tied at 4 on a solo home run by Juan Rivera. Jones goes back, and that ball is into the stands. So Juan Rivera with a solo home run to tie this game up in the top of the 8th. Eric Abar, who is 0 for 3, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-2, column 3, row 2, wild pitch. Nobody on, so we're going to re-roll the dice. And that is going to be a 2-5, column 2, row 5, possible error on a throw. That's going to be a 1-3, column 1, row 3. Ground ball to Rentia. His error range is on a 1-7. That is a 15, so there is no error there. And that'd be 1 away. Jeff Mathis. Mathis is 1 for 2 with a double, a run, and an RBI. And that is going to be a 2-1, column 2, row 1. That is a blank. And that's going to be a 4-4, column 4, row 4, double star 3, and that's going to be a ground ball to Rentia yet again. He'll make the catch, throw it over to Golan. And that is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down, and Casey Coachman, who is 2 for 3 today with a run, and here is the pitch. 3-3, column 3, row 3, that is a blank. 1-3, column 1, row 3, double star 1, ground ball to Polanco. He'll make the catch, throw it over to Golan, and that will retire the side. So 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and none left on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Jacques Jones, Edgar Rentia, and Ivan Rodriguez due up for the Tigers. And with that, Darren O'Day is done. And with that, they're going to bring in Francisco Rodriguez. Rodriguez comes into the game with a 1.80 ERA, 1 win and no loss. He's pitched 8 innings, 8 saves. He's pitched 10 innings, allowed 5 hits, 9 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Jacques Jones is 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout as he steps up. Taking a look at the box score. Not the box score. We're going to take a look at the stats. That's what we want to look at here. The stats for Darren O'Day. He went 1 1/3 inning, allowed 1 strike, and ERA of a 5.63. Jacques Jones 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. They are going to let him take the hit, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-6, column 3, row 6. Possible error on a throw. And that is going to be a 5-5, column 5, row 5. It's a pop-up. Izutris will get underneath it. Out number 1. 1 away. Edgar Rentia, 2 for 3 today, with a double, a strikeout, a run, and 2 RBIs. That is going to be a 6-4, column 6, row 4. That is a walk. On a 1-8, the 15 is too high. And that is going to be a 5-3, column 5, row 3, double star 4. Fly ball back to Matthews. He'll make the catch. And that'll put 2 away. 2 up, 2 down. Ivan Rodriguez, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. Are they going to let Rodriguez take the hit? They are. And that is going to be a 1-6, column 1, row 6. That is a walk. On a 1-7. That is a 7. That's going to be good for a walk. And with that, strategy roll is a 1. It is a steal attempt. They are going to send him. It's a 17. That is a 19. It's a +2, -1. So it's a +1. That's where we get the 19 from. And with that, Ivan will go over to second. Brandon Ing, 0 for 2. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 3-5, column 3, row 5, strikeout. On a 1-14, that is a 20. It is too high. And that is going to be a 4-4. Column 4, row 4, double star 5. Fly ball back there to Hunter. He'll make the catch. And that will retire. And that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors. And the Tigers will leave 1 stranded after 8. We're tied at 4. Go to the top of the 9th. Mercer Izutris, Cone Figgins, and Gary Matthews due up for the Angels. And with that, Todd Jones is done. And they're going to bring in Elquino Lopez. Lopez will come into the game with a 1.13 ERA. He's got 1 win and no losses. He's pitched 8 innings, allowed 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, and no walks. Taking a look at the stats here for Todd Jones, he went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 home run, and ERA of a 10.19. Mercer, and let's take a look at the box score after 8. Angels scored a run in the 8th. It's 4 runs now on 10 hits and no errors. We know they also scored 3 runs back in the 3rd inning. Tigers scored 3 runs in the 1st, a run in the 6th. It's 4 runs on 7 hits and no errors. 9, 1, and 2 due up in the lineup for the Angels, but will we see some 9th inning magic? Mercer Izutris 0 for 2. He is going to take the hit, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 1-2, column 1, row 2, hit by pitch. Lopez will give a -4. Die roll is a 10. Izutris' hit by pitch rating is a 0. Nothing happens. He got out of the way in time. And that's going to be a 1-1, column 1, row 1, ground ball up the middle to Lopez. He'll get it, throw it over to Golan. And that is out number 1. Top of the order, Cone Figgins, who is 2 for 4, has 2 RBIs on the day, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-6, column 4, row 6. That's a wild pitch. Nobody on. And that's going to be a 1-4, column 1, row 4. It's a line drive up the middle to Lopez. And that'll be 2-0. 2 up, 2 down. Gary Matthews is up. He's 2 for 3 with a strikeout and an RBI. And that is going to be a 5-4, column 5, row 4 at the ballpark. We're going to go to Comerica Park. And that is going to be a 4-5, column 4, row 5, ground ball up the first baseline to Golan. He'll make the catch. And that will retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors as the Tigers retire the Angels in order. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Curtis Granderson, Placidio Polanco, and Gary Sheffield due up for the Tigers. And with that, Francisco Rodriguez is done. And they're going to bring in Justin Spear. Spear comes into the game with a 4.29. No wins and no losses. He's pitched 6 1/3 of an inning, allowed 8 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks. Taking a look at the stats here for Francisco Rodriguez, he went 1 inning, allowed 1 walk, an ERA of a 1.64. Top of the order, Curtis Granderson, Placidio Polanco, and Gary Sheffield due up. Granderson is 2 for 3 today with a home run, a walk, a strikeout, a run, and 2 RBIs, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 5-4, column 5, row 4. That is a walk on a 1-15. That is a 15, and the tying run. So the go-ahead run is on first, and that's going to bring up Polanco. He's 1 for 4 today with a run scored. Strategy roll is a 7. Infield, double play depth, and here is the pitch. No outs. And that is going to be a 4-5, column 4, row 5, strikeout. On a 1-3, the 8 is too high. And that is going to be a 1-5, column 1, row 5. It's a fly ball back there to Hunter. He'll make the catch. and that'll put one away. Strategy roll is a 1. It's a steal attempt. They are going to send Granderson. That is an 8. It's a 15. And he'll move over to second. Gary Sheffield is up. He's 1 for 4. Are they going to let Sheffield take the hit? They are. Sheffield, 6-5, column 6, row 5. It's a wild pitch. On a 1 to 12, it's a wild pitch. 13 to 14, it's a passed ball. It's an 18. Nothing happens. 3-2, column 3, row 2, double star 1. And that's going to be a fly ball back there to Matthews. He'll make the catch. Runner attempts to advance and is thrown out at third. And with that, we go into free baseball. Jones throws it to, and with that, we throw it to third, and we go into free baseball. No runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the after 9. We're tied at 4. We go to the top of the 10th. Vladimir Guerrero, Torrey Hunter, and Juan Rivera due up. Now, when we get into extra innings, we will let the PC decide. We will randomly decide who the pitchers are when we need to change them out. Vladimir Guerrero is 1 for 4 with a double, and here is the pitch. Lopez goes back out there on the mound. He's 1-5, column 1, row 5. That's going to be a wild pitch. Nobody on. And that is going to be a 4-4. Column 4, row 4. That's going to be good for a base hit down the first baseline. And with that, Guerrero is on with a base hit. Torrey Hunter, 1 for 4. Strategy roll is a 14, and here is the pitch. 2-2, column 2, row 2, at the ballpark. We're going to go to Comerica Park, and that is going to be a 5-1, column 5, row 1. It's a base hit out there in the center field. Guerrero will hold at second, so runners on first and second. Base run rating is a 1. The die roll is a 4. Infield double play depth. Juan Rivera is 1 for 4 today with a home run, a run, and an RBI. And the pitch. By the way, strategy roll was an 18. Angels holding off. 2-6, column 2, row 6, strikeout. On a 1 to 6, that is a 7. It is too high. And that is going to be a 3-5, column 3, column 5, row 3. It's a pop-up to the shortstop. And that'll be 1 away. Eric Abar, who is 0 for 4. Abar not going to take the hit. And they're going to bring in Reggie Willits to pinch hit. Willits, here is the pitch. He's batting a 1,000. He's batting 1,000. And that is going to be a 1-2, column 1, row 2. That is a hit by pitch. 0. 19 too high. And that is going to be a 2-4, column 2, row 4. He does what they needed him to do. He gets a base hit. And with that, Guerrero will go to third. And he's waved around. He'll go from second to home on a base run rating of a 3 through 6. That is a 3. He'll score. Hunter on second. He'll go from first to third on a base run rating of a 3 to 6. That is a 5. And runners are on the corners. The Angels now have a 1-run lead here in the top of the 10th. And with that, Lopez is tired, and they are going to pull him. So with that, as we go into extra innings, and the reliever is going to be Bob Say. Say will come into the game with a 3.40 ERA. He's got no wins and no losses. He's pitched 5 1/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Taking a look at the stats here for Lopez. He went 1 1/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run. Right now an ERA of a 1.94. However, he is responsible for the 2 runners on. Mathis, 1 for 3 with a double, a run, a walk, and a run. And that's going to be a 3-2. Cullen 3, row 2, strikeout. On a 1-7, the 19 is too high. And that's going to be a 3-2-4. Cullen 2, row 4, fly ball back there to Granderson. He'll make the catch. And that is going to be a sacrifice play. And with that, it is now 6-2, the Angels, with a 2-run lead here in the top of the 10th. It's 6-4. Reggie Willits up. Casey Coachman is up. He's 2 for 4 with a run. And here is the pitch. And that's going to be a 2-1. Cullen 2. Row 1, that's going to be a walk on a 1-7. That is a 7. That's going to be good for a walk. So runners on first and second. And that is going to bring up Mercer Zutris. 2 outs. Strategy rolls are turned off. And here is the pitch. And the reason they are turned off is we take the difference in the score. It's a 2-run game. We add it to the inning we're in. We're in the top of the 10th. Remember, if the number you get is higher than 10, strategy is turned off. Mercer Zutris, 0 for 3 today with a walk, a strikeout, and a run, and here is the pitch. That's going to be a 4-6. Column 4, row 6, strikeout. On a 1-4, the 15 is too high. And that is going to be a 3-4, column 3, row 4. It's a ground ball to the shortstop, Torrentia. He'll make the catch. And that will retire the side. So, for shortstop, we're going to bring in Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez will take over at short. On that. And with that, Justin Spear is tired. They're not going to let Spear come in. And they're going to give it to Scott Shields. Shields going to come in for the save. Tigers down by 2. Shields, 3 saves, 7 2/3 innings pitched, no wins and no losses, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, and no walks. Taking a look at the stats here. Lopez, however, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, an ERA of a 2.91. Justin Spear went 1 inning, allowed 1 walk, an ERA of a 3.70. Bottom of the 10th, Tigers down by 2. Clete Thomas batting a 259, and here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 4-6. Column 4, row 6. That's a strikeout. On a 1-21, it's a strikeout plus. Remember, we add 10 to the strikeout range. -1 for the ballpark. We add 9. That's where we get the 21. That is an 8. Struck him out. Struck him out. That's going to bring up Carlos Guillen. Guillen batting a 263. And that is going to be a 6-5. Column 6, row 5, double. That is a blank. And that is going to be a 3-6. Column 3, row 6. Power hit to Guerrero. And that is a 20. That's going to be a flyout. If it was a 1-3, it would be a single. 4-12 double. 13-15 a triple. That's 16-20 is a flyout. And with that, the Tigers are now down to the last down, and Jock Jones is up. He's 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. They are going to let him take the hit. Jones, 6-3, column 6, row 3. That's going to be a walk plus on a 1-22. That is a 2, and that's going to be good for a walk. So, runner on first, and here comes the tying run up to bat. Edgar Rentia, 2 for 4 today with a double, a strikeout, a run, and 2 RBIs. And here is the pitch. And that is going to be a 6-1, column 6, row 1, strikeout plus on a 1-17. That is a 14. Struck him out looking. And that's the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors. And the Tigers will leave one stranded. And the Los Angeles Angels defeat the Detroit Tigers today in extra innings with a final score of 6-4. Final line score coming right up. So the Angels win it in extra innings. That's 6 runs on 13 hits, no errors for the Angels. The Tigers, 4 runs on 7 hits and no errors. Justin Spear will get the win. Aquino Lopez picks up his first loss. Scott Shields picks up his 4th save of the replay. Juan Rivera will pick up his 2nd home run of the replay, and Curtis Granderson hits his 1st. Taking a look at the game stats here. Justin Spear, who picks up the win, he went 1 inning, allowed 1 walk, an ERA of a 3.70. Aquino Lopez picks up his first loss of the replay. He went 1 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, an ERA of a 2.91. Bobby Say, he won 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 walk, an ERA of a 3.0. Scott Shields picks up his 4th save, went 1 inning, allowed 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, no ERA there. So that is going to do it for us here at Comerica Park, as the Los Angeles Angels will improve to 17-7, and the Detroit Tigers will drop to 11-13. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and a thumbs up on your way through the turnstile. And remember to click that bell notification to be notified of when new videos in the 2008 replay go up, and when I go live with all of the Philadelphia Phillies games. Until then, I'm Scooney 007. We'll see you for another exciting game in the 2008 replay with Inside Pitch. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.